Hey everybody, this is Brett, and today I am making millet hull pillows. And I've already made 2 large millet hull pillows, and I'm going to make another one, and I'm just sitting here by myself. Nobody's hanging out with me. Nobody loves me. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. So let's make another millet hull pillow, and I'll show you how I do it. You'll see how good of a quality they are, and then you'll realize that you really need to get one of these millet hull pillows. I slept so good last night, and I went to bed early, and so I got 11 hours. I was in bed for 11 hours last night, of which I slept at least probably 10. And so, yeah, let's make another one of these, and you'll see how good they are. I gotta put a label on this one first. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. That's the only lyrics I know to that song. So I know that if I don't put labels on these, that I'll just forget what they are. I won't be able to tell. I put a nice little large label on this. Just like that. So I have a whole bunch. Hi April, hi Sunny. I have a whole bunch of these cut. And I'm just gonna cut the tule weeds off the edge. I'll show you what that means. Because not everyone knows what a tule weed is. And that's because I made it up. I lived in Lancaster, California. They have tumbleweeds. So I'm holding the camera and cutting at the same time. But you see these little threads sticking off the edge. Those are tule weeds, according to me. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. So you can make fun of your troubles. And then they're not so troublesome, are they? Okay. So now we're going to put a zipper on one end, on one side. But before I do that, I have to mark where the zipper is going to go. So I put the zipper so that it's halfway in between the length of the pillow. Halfway. Now, I think it would be better if we had more light. Is that better? Yes. Okay, so now I put it halfway and I make a mark. I feel pretty good after all that sleep. So I'm just going to make pillows all freaking day, all day. So then I have to fold the edge over twice so that it can never fray. April, were you born in April? And are you an Aries? That's kind of a given a lot of the time. Women that are named April were born in April and they're Aries. And they're kind of hot, aggressive daredevils. It's a fire sign. Aries is a fire sign. So I have a lot of fire in me, but not Aries. I don't have any Aries at all. And I think that that would really kind of freak out my Cancer. If I had Aries in me, it would really freak out my Cancer sun. So I just sew the zipper. I'll show you how fast I usually do it. And that's been variable. Because sometimes I'm really mellow and sometimes I just feel like hauling ass. Can I say ass on a live video? Now I have to go back because I don't just sew things once. I always do a double seam. And I do that double seam on top of the other one. I don't do it with, like, if I wanted to, I could put 2 needles in here and sew 2 threads at a time. That's just a pain in the butt. I wouldn't want to do that because then I'd have to have 2 spools and 2 needles, and it would probably screw up a lot more often, and that would be a drag. So we don't want to complicate things. It only takes another 10 seconds to sew the second seam. Because I can go fast. So there. The second seam is sewn. It's twice as strong, and it only took another 10 seconds. I like things that are good and like don't take too much time and improve the product. Okay, so now I have to mark the mark for the other side because I'm going to sew these together. So I match them up perfectly like that. And then I take my pen and I make a mark right where the other zipper starts. Right there. And I don't use like a zipper foot from putting these together. I just put them together in a simple manner that works really well. It's nothing fancy. You guys know I'm really very utilitarian when it comes to doing things. I like things beautiful, but it's more important, especially with massage products and health products, it's more important that they're really healthy and durable. Functional. Okay. Now hopefully I didn't go too far there, but now I have to line it up. So I got the needle buried in the material, and I put the head down now and check it out to make sure that the material lines up on the end here. There. If that is perfectly lined up, Then I do that and lock it. Now I can get this out of the way by unzipping the zipper and finish the job. And believe it or not, I actually am getting better at this all the time. I actually made a tiny improvement on it the other day. So over the years, I've made little improvements in the way I make them, the materials. The shipping, everything. And in between each run, like this is a run. When I get it set up like that, and then I make a little run, oftentimes I have to move the material, adjust everything. Most of the time, I have to adjust everything. Now this time, I'm at the end of the zipper where I'm close to the head, and I need to lift the head, move the head, the zipper head out of the way, fix the fold, fix the zipper, drop the head, and then finish. And now I have to finish the whole edge by going all the way to the end. Okay. And now I got to flip the whole thing around without destroying the camera. There. Now I got to move the head of the zipper out of the way again. Move all that material over. Fix all this material straight, and then finish the run. When I finish the run, I'll try and straighten out the line of the other one so that it's cleaner. So when you make it a double stitch, you can actually make the first line cleaner. Okay, so now that was really good because I just ended my bobbin. My bobbin is completely done now, and it ended at the perfect time right at the end of that run. Oops, sorry. Okay. So now I close the zipper and line everything up, and it's ready to be closed. But first, I've got to put a new bobbin in. So I have a bunch of bobbins already wound, ready to go. So all I have to do is pop that. Oops, you can't see. There. Okay, pop that. Get that out of the way so I can pull that out of there like that. Then pull the old bobbin out and prepare the new one. So here's how you put a bobbin in. You stick it in the thing and you snap it in there, pull it out a little bit, and it's ready to go. Then it has to go in there like this. Okay? Then you gotta pull it up like this. And I'm ready to go again. So now I just put the edges, the corners perfectly together. Stick it under there, and we're going to sew all the way around. If you want one of these amazing pillows because you want to sleep better, you can go to the link in the description box down below. Go to brettsnaturalhealth.com, get you an amazing full-size millet hole pillow, either a large like this, a medium, or a small, depending on how big of a person you are. Definitely get a pillow that's right for the size of a person you are. If you're a big person, get a large one. If you're a medium person, get a medium one. If you're a small person, get a small one. So today I'm just making larges all day. It's one of those days that it's not the most interesting kind of a day. It's cold and windy and it's going to rain outside. But now I'm going to check the comments to see what you guys are writing. Okay. April writes, no, June 29th. April. April is a Taurus. Okay. I don't mind, Brett. How long have you been sewing? Dr. Twist, I have been sewing for about 15 years, I think. It's amazing. I've been sewing as long as I look old. Okay. And Brett, do you know that A did sewing at school? April did sewing, but she didn't do typing, did she? I used to see a little. Oh, cool, Sonny. I'm glad you used to see a little. Can you still see? Been thinking of getting a sewing machine to make clothes from the early 1900s. That would look great at the cemetery. I have a pillow and love it. Cool, that's great. I love mine too. And I really love my knee ankle bolster a lot too. I love my body pillow once in a while, but in all honesty, I really love my knee ankle bolster. My hips get sore, you know, and if my knees aren't apart about like at least that much, then my psoas, not psoas, my can't remember my anatomy now. It's a muscle on the side of your butt that gets really sore if you're sleeping on it a lot. And it really helps to have a knee ankle bolster in there. Okay, look how good my hair looks. You know, but my hair actually looks pretty good compared to the way that most people, a lot of people like their hair all messy looking. It's like a style. Like, okay, so I don't go with things that don't make very much sense. Okay, so a lot of people do things for style, but they don't make sense. Now, I would love to be able to, in all honesty, have long hair. That's one of the things that's really kind of annoying to have, bothersome, you know, you got to take care of it, you got to put it somewhere, you got to comb it, you got to do things with it. But it's so attractive that I would really love to have some long hair. But I don't do things like tattoos and piercings and things like if it's gonna hurt, I'm like, that, or if it's gonna like do some kind of a long-term or permanent damage to my body, I'm like, screw that. I didn't even want to get my penis circumcised. Like if I could go back to my birth, I'd be like, no, don't touch that. Don't touch that. I would like to be pure a la natural. And so, cool, Sonny. Cool. I know it works really good, huh? And you can see that, like, okay, so I'll tell you a story about the shindig and how I had a woodworker making those for me. I had this guy who was not a Seventh Day Adventist. Those ones that come knocking on your door. Which are the ones that the Jehovah's Witnesses? Okay, so I had this guy, this woodworker that was a Jehovah's Witness. And he was kind of a smart ass guy, but he did fairly good work. But he just could not carve shindigs worth a And so after 2 tries, and I told him and I rejected them, he got mad and he quit. And so the shindigs have to be carved, and they have to be carved by somebody that, see, this is kind of why I haven't yet, one of the reasons why I haven't gotten other woodworkers to work for me. If I get somebody to work for me, they have to be trained, because there are so many little tiny things with making all these products that have to be done right. And if the person doesn't really care, then, I mean, they have to really love my products, I think. I can't just have somebody randomly making my products that's not into health. So that cuts out 99.9% of the population of this world. Incidentally, sometimes I think to myself, I really, really need to just get into this mindset of being appreciative of being a health person instead of being annoyed that few people recognize how important it is. And so, it's a challenge to be positive about the situation, not just with the situation with me, but with the world situation. It's a challenge to be positive about the whole thing, because it can be really, really annoying because people are so freaking stupid. And it's not just that they're stupid. I think it's that people are so stupid that they got into the situations that they're in that have led them to have to be as stupid as they are, because stupid leads to stupid. So if you've gotten a whole bunch of children that you have to take care of, then, I mean, you were sexually stupid at one time, and that's gotten you into this stupid situation. And so now you have to be really stupid about it. Do you see what I mean? Like, people have to be in denial, okay? Stupid denial about a lot of things because of the situations that they've gotten themselves in. Like, imagine that you've decided to become a doctor. Even worse, maybe. No, I won't go there. But let's just say that you've decided to become a doctor and you've buried yourself in $200,000 worth of school loan debt. Okay, so that's a problem. Like, a person would really, no matter what you do, you have to really, really want to be into doing it. You see that I'm still doing these videos. I'm still doing these YouTube videos. It's been almost 13 years. On January the 1st, it will have been 13 years, full years, and I'll be going into my 14th year as a YouTuber. And the reason that I got into it, I had no idea that I could ever make money. And now I don't make any money. I make $200 a month from the commercials that they run on these. And that's because of a lot of different things. They changed the algorithms. Massage videos got screwed over about 4 years ago because of the fiasco thing, and they got really afraid. So luckily, that's kind of changed now, because they've done a lot of work to prevent any bad videos like sex videos, violent videos, all kinds of things that were being complained about by the public, the general public, largely because of their children, etc. So they have all of these things set up on YouTube now to prevent kids from being able to see things that parents don't want them to see. But if you were a massage business 4 years ago, a massage channel 4 years ago, and you were just making massage videos that could be construed by some people as being sexual, well, you got really screwed from the algorithms and from your monetization, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so they changed everything around. But it's not just that. The biggest reason why people have a hard time getting started on YouTube and getting viewers, and why I don't have near as many views, is because of the numbers, the sheer numbers of people that are YouTubers nowadays. Everyone in their gourd wants to make YouTube videos. But what I was saying is that when the rubber hits the road, it's only the people that really, really, really love doing whatever they're doing. It doesn't matter what they're doing. And on YouTube, it's only those people that survive, because when the going gets tough, or when if you're just not any good, if you're just not any good at doing what you're doing, then you can freaking forget it. I know what I'm good at. I'm good at teaching people things that I've learned in a simple manner, in a simple way that they can understand, because I think that it's really important to be able to teach people simple things, because people just don't get it, or people just don't grasp it or practice it, especially with healing, because healing is so hard. Healing is really hard because it's not like going to Disneyland. It's not like eating ice cream. Those are fun things that everyone wants to do. You have to get a new mindset with healing. And you have to appreciate walking up a hill just as much as you do walking down a hill. And so let's read some more comments. April Morrison, was your uncle Jim Morrison from The Doors? April says, I'm happy to see you on YouTube because you are my favorite YouTuber ever, and you make me laugh, Brett. Thank you, April. That's one of my other qualities, making people laugh. And I really want to do more comedy videos. But right now, as you can kind of see in the world, it's not very comedic, and I'm just not feeling it right now. But I will. I'll get back to feeling it, and I'll get back to singing, and I really want to get into traveling. Like, okay, so this year my travel thing, my pass thing, ran out. I bought it 10 years ago. But guess what? I never used it. I really wanted to travel. I really wanted to get into traveling, and so I was like, I'm going to buy a passport. I'm going to pay the $200, whatever it is, for the passport, and I got it, but I never used it. It's a blank book filled with nothing. So now I'll have to buy another one when I'm ready, and this time I'm not going to buy it until I'm sure that I'm really ready to go do some traveling. But I've been watching some Mexico videos, and I'm trying to figure that out. My friend Christina has been going down to Oaxaca for the winters, and I've been looking at things like, it really looks great. The only problem is like the Sinaloa County. You've heard of the Sinaloa cartel. So I've got to learn about all those things and how to stay away from troubles down in Mexico before I go down there. But I think that it's all really overblown by the American media, as they say. Because my friend Christina, she says that there's absolutely, she's not had no problems whatsoever. No, Jim Morrison is not my uncle, Brett. Good. What else? Carol Bomarito. I just love that name. I just like to say that. Bomarito. Woo! Bomarito. Let's say that, everybody. Isn't that a cool name to say? Bomarito. A lot of Italian names are just kind of cool to say. You know, they're like Italian people. They got some fire to them. Carol says, "Good morning. I love your machine. I have a similar one and like it a lot." Yeah, it's a Kenmore. Mm. See, it's good to know. It's good to know the different qualities of the different, I've told you this many times, of different peoples. The Japanese people are freaking amazing when it comes to things like this. And so, if it says right on there, made in Japan, you know it's probably a pretty darn good thing, especially if it was like a sewing machine made in the 70s. Okay. The 80s probably also, but the 70s, that's a sweet spot right there. But sewing machines are kind of like music, like rock and roll. The sweet spot was the 70s. Late 60s were really good for music too. It was all through the late 65 through 80. 65 through 80 for music, and about this machine 75 through maybe 78. Now, for automobiles, for American automobiles, that was the most sour, crappy time. 75, the mid 70s, those big boat cars, and they only lasted like up to 100,000 miles, maybe. Those were the absolute worst cars on earth. But the Japanese cars all through the 70s and ever since 70 or even earlier were all amazing. And as we all know, that all of us that own Toyotas, they're just the best. But these sewing machines also, electronic things. And the thing with the Japanese people is that they're just workaholics. They're absolute workaholics. And they offset that with some weird things, like their sexual game shows. If you guys want to see something really strange, the strangest freaking thing that you've ever seen, watch Japanese sexual game shows on YouTube. You're just kind of like, what? They're like, uh, but, and the weirdest thing of it is, here's the weirdest thing, okay? Like, if you look at people in Japan, they seem to be so subdued. They seem to be so nice. They seem to be so efficient and mellow and like, but if you watch those game shows, you're like, oh my God, are you kidding me? So I've kind of learned that like things work on opposites, okay? Things work on opposites. So if you see something that looks unusually quiet, you may very well find that something of the opposite nature is underlying with that thing. Andrew says, a bit of a topic here, but I recently started following along with your foot massage videos, and go figure, my feet have been feeling way better. I'm going to start saving for a foot friend. Andrew, you should buy a foot friend. I'll tell you a little story about my very most recent episode with a foot friend. So, last night, I decided to go to bed, but I hadn't massaged my feet. That almost always comes back to haunt me. Not really to haunt me, but to make me get my ass out of bed and do it. And so that's exactly what happened because my left heel was bugging me. And so for me, I know that the feet connect to every part of the body. And if it's my left heel that's bugging me, then it's my descending colon that's also needing to be stimulated via my left heel. And so I know how important it is to keep my digestive system moving, especially right now. And so what did I do? I got my ash out of bed. I pulled out the regular foot friend. I didn't use the stoned or the multi-tool. I just used the regular foot friend. The regular foot friends are an amazing tool for the majority of the time. Now, I will tell you that last spring, the stone foot friend was serving me best. Those are the two that I like the most, personally, the stoned and the regular, and I use both of them regularly. But most of the time, I just use the regular wooden foot friend. It's an $80 tool that will last you probably your whole life. I can't imagine that it will ever break. I mean, I've taken that one, and I have one in the car too, and I put it on dirt if I'm out on the road. Spit on you, sorry. I put it on dirt, I put it on grass, I put it on like anything on the road, and it's got like dents from rocks in the bottom of them. But that's all right, it doesn't matter. They'll just last and last and last. And I dug out that pain in my heel last night, and then I went right to bed, right to sleep. And sometimes I have to do that. I had to get out. I had a sore left shoulder last night, and I had to get out of bed and massage it a little bit. And actually, no, that one I was able to stay in bed and do. But these tools are so amazing, so important, and I have more of them in my head that I haven't created yet, but soon. Oh, and check it out. I'll show you my shoes. I'll show you my shoes now because those soles that I poured, they are golden. And I think that it could be that those shoes might last till the day I die, including the soles. And I'm going to show you two things just to whet your palate a little bit in regards to getting a pair of shoes from me in the future with built-in orthotics. So these are my Tevas. And I've had them for maybe 2 years. Look at what happens to the soles. We all know about this. We've all seen this. That is just about history. This is a natural rubber sole. This is a natural rubber sole. And granted, I've only been walking on this for about 6 weeks now. But I'm looking at the wear, and I'm seeing that it's most likely that this sole is going to last for a long time. I'm not talking like 2 years, and I'm not talking like 5 years. I mean, it's possible, it's entirely possible that this sole, it looks like, and it's hard to tell because like I've never had a natural pure rubber sole before on a pair of shoes. But it looks like this thing might last till the day I die. I'm not kidding you. Like, look at that, because it's soft. The rubber is softer and it's more durable against being walked on. Like you can see that there's a tiny bit of wear there. It's hard to see. There. But this is so overkill. Look how thick that is. I thought it was going to dry to be a lot thinner than that. But you can see how thick that rubber is. And these things are built like tanks. They're heavy. So next time, I'm not going to make the sole near as thick. And there's some other changes that I have to make on these sandals. And I kind of need to make them so that they're more universal. And I think it'd be kind of cool if they were summer sandals as summer shoes as well as winter so that you could change the tops. But these shoes, These shoes are rock solid. And it's so exciting that, so that, you know what that is? That's a little piece of tar when they made the road. They repaved the road, and a little piece of tar was on the road. And I'm telling you, when stuff like that sticks to this rubber, you can't hardly get it off because it's so stuck. It's just like when I put a piece of tape on this rubber and then I pulled it off, it actually ripped a little bit of the rubber out. Can you see that right there? It ripped a little bit of the rubber because this stuff is just like, it's so durable. So this is what I'm talking about with like natural things from God, from nature, from the universe. Amazing. This is what I mean. Like a millet hull pillow, there's no comparison to a mass-produced petroleum-based pillow. And like cotton clothes and wool and all the natural fibers, I stay away from poly whatever it's called, and polyester and nylon, all that. And it's the strange thing is that other people have become so disconnected from the natural that they don't recognize, or they don't mentally know, or something. They don't know that they need to stay away from unnatural fabrics. Or say they're all addicted to sugar, and they're all addicted to processed foods, and I think that that contributes to them not being connected and being able to realize the value of natural things. And so also they see like a polyester or something with a vibrant color, like a neon color, and they want that. They want colors that are unnatural. They're like, and I'm not attracted to that kind of stuff for the most part. I stay away from it. I even like walking more than bicycling. Just simple walking, you know? And or just occasionally sprinting, you know. I'll be doing a lot more of that, more aggressive exercise in the future. But anyways, I'm gonna get back to sewing here after I read a couple more. I was wondering which you might recommend grabbing first. I know they all have their strengths, but that first investment will be for sure a lot of use. Wavy writes, all of our answers are right in front of us. All of our answers are on this planet. Everything humans ever needed has always been here. That may be true, or it actually may not be true, because I believe that things can be brought here. Seeds can be brought here. Viruses can be brought here. All humans, different kinds of humans, and all kinds of things can be brought here from out there. So maybe the things that we need in the future will magically appear. So anyways, these souls, I would say, are pretty close to a 100% experiment success. And I love it. Of course, what inventor doesn't love success? Success is so awesome when it happens. But I'm telling you, it took me a long time to figure out how to create a soul like that and to pour it, you know. Get me some water. But yeah, I would guess that manufacturers know about rubber. They may have forgotten by now, but a long time ago when they knew about natural rubber back in the 20s, 30s, whatever, 40s, and then they figured out how to make mass-produced soles like this, and then they learned that, oh, the soles will wear out. They were like, yay, the soles will wear out, and then they'll have to buy more shoes. That's exactly how this world works. They're always only thinking about money. But for me, I'm thinking about starting an eco-village because I know that that's where it's at in the regards to health. That's where it's at. You see, the only way that you can have animals and an organic garden and community and gatherings and get massage and have sex with more than one woman and have conversations with more than one woman and experiences with more than one person, except most people, they're into families and they've just got one wife or one husband. They've got a couple of kids, or maybe they have a crap load of kids. People that make a bunch of kids in the past, they did that for reasons of being able to have all of the things that I'm telling you about with community, barring the sex and all of that. But a person could have like everything that they wanted and not be committed to one person. They could have their own little house, one little or two-bedroom house, and they can have their own privacy, and they can have community with a whole bunch of friends and lovers. And I mean, it would be amazing. It would be totally amazing. And the communities, like the way that people live now, they can sort of live like that if they stay single and they live in a progressive area. Like some people actually kind of do live like that in New York, say. They have polygamist, or not polygamist, but like singles groups and stuff like that. And they live all throughout the city, but they don't have gardens and natural houses. They have to live in buildings and blah, 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 blah. I'm talking about like an advanced society of people that are into natural health, and they've all got really healthy bodies. They've all got really beautiful, tight, healthy bodies. And they're all tan and they're all walking around naked in the summer, and we're talking about like a beautiful place. People are all like eating together and they're playing hacky outside, and they're like enjoying yard games and gardening, and there's animals. Like, think about it, it's like a garden of Eden, a freaking garden of Eden of people just loving each other. And it would be a beautiful, beautiful thing. And people could work, but they're not like working to death to save the world. Like people go out and they're working to pay for all the millionaires. It's all of those people out there. They've created the current situation. All of those freaking millionaires have created this situation in which all of the money flows to them. It all eventually flows to them. And it's not just them that have created this. It's all the people, all the mainstream people that buy into all of the addictive things that they create. But eventually the truth rises to the surface, because you can't just keep processing sugar in Florida and killing off all the manatees. You can't just keep polluting all the water in Florida via the processing of freaking sugar. And think of all the other things too. Like this sewing machine is running probably on nuclear power. Well, we can't just keep creating nuclear waste all the time. We can't just keep creating nuclear waste all the time and thinking like, okay, we'll just ship it out to Nevada and bury it. Yeah, right. That's really smart. People are so freaking stupid. And think about fracking. Like, does that make sense to blow up places deep in the earth so that natural gases are released? Like, and then it gets in the water, I'm sure that that's going to cause trouble. Eventually, it's going to start leaking out, directly out of the earth. It's probably not even smart to put up like solar or like windmills out in the ocean either. There's so many things that people do that they're just going to have to learn. Like think about it. They made dams, right? And maybe they needed the hydroelectric energy from that. But now they're starting to tear dams down because they realize that the salmon can't run. And all kinds of animal problems that were in the river and that were created by dams in rivers. And now they're like, oh, we better tear those dams down, and then everything returns back to the way it used to be. But if people would just skip the idiot things and slow down, it's amazing how many things people waste, how much people waste. And they're just going to have to learn to live simple lives. And thank God for COVID-19. That's all I can tell you. Because all of us need to come back to reality. So now I'm just cutting off the tule weeds. And the tule weeds. Oh, we've got 11 people watching. Okay, so the tule weeds are these little things that stick out from the edge. Trim the corner a little bit. Trying to do this with one hand. Yeah, typical relationships are such a drag because what they'll do is they'll get married, people get married, and then they'll get bored with each other. And so what do? They go get a pet. And that fills a void of loneliness and stuff to a degree. But it's not the same as having more than one person to have a relationship with. And I'm not telling you this from experience because I haven't. I'm just telling you this from logic and having lived for a long time and seen how people live and thought about things a lot. Okay. And so if you think about things the way I'm thinking about them, then you'll probably also start to get it. Okay, so also from having been a massage therapist and having various degrees of relationships with people as a massage therapist and touching their bodies, etc., blah, 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 you come to realize that kind of everyone's kind of the same, sort of, but not. And that we all just need to get past all of the mentality of that. And it's so much in music, the mentality of the one and only. You're my one and only mentality. And all of that is so totally of the past and so totally wrong, thinking that one person could be or should be your one and only lover, the only one that you live with or talk to or eat with, all these things, People get bored and lonely, and then they'll find a pair of friends, a husband and wife friends to be friends with. And then oftentimes, just like, for instance, George Harrison and Patty Boyd became friends with Eric Clapton. And Clapton would come over and hang out, and eventually Clapton fell in love with Patty Boyd, and then they ended up being together and getting married later, blah, 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 because George went and cheated and had sex with Ringo Starr's girlfriend or wife. I can't remember if they were married or not. Okay, so all of this is a perfect example. And so for society, they all think that this is bad because they had commitments. They were married and they were supposed to stay true, etc. Blah, blah, blah. But basically, George Harrison got tired of Patty. Eric fell in love with her. Okay, eventually they fell out of love too. Things come and things go. When you've done healing for as long as I have, or when you've lived as long as I have, or whatever, you realize that things come and things go. And that's how naturally things should be. Things need to come and go naturally. And if people would allow things to do things things to happen naturally in their lives, it would be amazing. It would just be amazing. And I'm not saying that we won't be sad when somebody goes out of our lives, we lose a pet or whatever. I'm just saying that if we'd just be more allowing of things to come and go, I've learned that in so many ways. Viewers on YouTube, they have come and they have gone. Sometimes they come and go really fast. There's some goon will come on and make a comment and they get to go like that. They get to leave. So now regarding the pillow, I'm going to turn it inside out. I'm going to turn it inside out and sew the French seam all the way around. So for me, I'm not going to get stuck on any one person. And there are so many different things that show how marriage is an idiocy. And the first one of the first things is the ceremony in itself. Because it's gotten to be such an idiocy that people spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And some people out there have businesses that are entirely catering towards people getting married. Like the preacher, how much do they make? They make probably a couple of $100 just for going there and saying the vows and putting the, handing the ring to the groom and all the blah, blah, blah. Think about the cake makers. Oh, I'm a wedding cake maker, all full of sugar and processed yada yada. The photographer, the people that have the place where they have the marriage at. Some people spend tens of thousands of dollars on this ceremonial yada yada where people agree to do things for each other till death do them part, till they freaking die. Like my grandpa, when my grandma died, that was like the end, almost the end of his life, right? He couldn't go on. Like people are so stuck in the mentality that this is my one and only. What if something happens to that person? Are you just going to die? Are you going to be depressed forever? Can you ever have sex or have a conversation or anything with anyone else ever again? Probably not, because they were your one and only. I have news for everyone. Our world, unfortunately, has 7.5 billion other humans, all wasting things and living synthetic lives. They're sleeping on synthetic pillows. They're not sleeping on natural pillows. They're living a fantasy relationship where they think that only one person is good for them ever. That's all for children, okay? So that's all for the mindset of children and people that are irresponsible. Because men, if they're not married, then they're not legally forced to pay child support or to spend time with their kids, nothing. So they can just go off to Puerto Vallarta. And so then the government is like, well, we're going to have to do something about this. We're going to have to promote marriage and force men to get married, and women are doing that too. They're like, there's so many different things that try and force men into marriage, right? And there's reasons for it, because people are irresponsible. If everyone were responsible, we wouldn't need any laws at all. We wouldn't need police, we wouldn't need military, we wouldn't need any authoritarian anything if people were just responsible and practical and logical. But they're not, and so we need all of that yada yada. The community that I'm talking about, okay? The community that think about this. Think about this. Think about living in a community where everyone ate whole foods, avoided wheat and dairy and mass-produced meats, and ate significant portions of vegetables and was really healthy. Think about all the BS that completely eliminates, all the health problem BS that eliminates. It's exactly the same concept as, like, think about if everyone out there were ethical and didn't do anything against the law. Then we wouldn't need judges, we wouldn't need lawyers, we wouldn't need prosecutors, we wouldn't need police, we wouldn't need to build a police house, jail, nothing. Okay? If everyone ate right, we wouldn't need doctors, we wouldn't need nurses, we wouldn't need emergency care. You could fire all the EMTs out there. There wouldn't be Pfizer, there wouldn't be Johnson & Johnson. No one would be getting sick from the you-know-what. It would go on and on and on. So what I'm trying to do here is create a community. And you see, I'm absolutely not certain that this will ever happen during my lifetime. I'm 56 now. I might not ever create this community in this lifetime. But what I'm creating in my mind and in my heart and in my soul now is going to project onto my next life. I believe in progression, not just in this world, but beyond. I believe that everything progresses into the next lives. And hopefully, if I am reborn into this world, it will be in a time where people are doing things a lot better than the way they are now. It's like, this world is ridiculous. We have so much work to clean up the oceans and the water and do everything better. And God knows how much nuclear waste is being stored in this country right now. And think about, like, it's sickening to think that there are thousands of nuclear missiles loaded and ready and locked and ready to be fired at any moment. It's amazing, this world. This world, I'm just like, what am I doing here? What in God's freaking name am I doing on this planet? And so hopefully I get to graduate. I'm so excited that I get to graduate to this new kind of a thing, because I don't see any reason for staying here. And I have plans, y'all. I have plans. So now I'm going to create the French scene. So I put the ends of the zipper right together perfectly. And then I put the zipper underneath the foot. And it has to be in the perfect spot. This is a very important part of the pillow making process. Okay. Now I'm going to put a label . There's my labels. That's a crap load of labels right there. And I have to put it in there with these needle nose pliers. right to there. Oops, sorry. Okay, so now I have to wet my fingers with some water and pinch the edge to get it to seam, to hide the seam. Hidden seam, French seam. So I can do runs that are like 8 to 10 inches long. I'm going to do one that's like 12 inches long right now. All the way to the corner. Now I'm going to go back all the way around and double seam the whole thing, double stitch the whole thing. Now I'm going to give it a little bit more strength right where the zipper connects. Hi. That's it. Turn it inside out. push the corners out. And now we got to trim the toolies off the edges. Because sometimes, most of the time after you turn it back right side out, you still have a couple of these little threads sticking out. Like that. Okay. I have now made 3 inner pillows today, all in the large size. So now we just fold it, put a large sticker on it, so I know what it is. Oh yeah, show you how the zipper has to be able to tuck in like that. That way it won't leak. And they usually stay pretty good. So let's fold it and put a label on it. And it's ready to get a case. Large. Let's see if I have any viewers or if anyone's making any bad comments. People that like monogamy are mad at me now. Okay. Brett, can you laying down on your back and put your one arm around your head next live stream, and I can laying down and put my one arm around my feet, my head too with you? I don't mind. I don't know, April, because I can't really understand that. I have no freaking idea what that means. There. Brett, can you say a good girl to me because it makes me happy? A good girl. Wavy. All of our answers are right in front of us. I already read that one. Very Tao of you, Brett. Go with the flow. Thank you. Okay, everybody. So thanks for joining me, and thanks for listening to my rhetoric, and thanks for watching me make a pillow. Go get yourself a Millet Hole pillow at brettsnaturalhealth.com. Link in description box below. Have a great day. Bye.